H3H3 is now slightly concerned because it turns out that if you caught an audience of rabid leftists and you're a Jewish guy, it's not actually the best move because it turns out a bunch of them are real anti-Semitic, and well, it's come to haunt him personally.
Can you explain to a very offline person who this guy is?
So this is a guy who has wasted his life. He decided, oh, maybe I should make interesting content. Maybe I should use my influence and reach that I make from making content on the internet to defend people like PewDiePie, when PewDiePie was being hunted by the Wall Street Journal for endorsing Nazis, we swear, and the evidence was bunk. And then for some reason, he ate a bunch of crayons and became a leftist. And then decided, hey, what if I invite Hassan Piker, known American disrespecter, to come on my podcast and we'll do a thing together. And you know what? I'll call his audience of extreme left, well, terminally online weirdos. And it turns out that wasn't a great strategy. He should have stuck to defending PewDiePie. That's been a much more, well, close to reality.
You're telling me that getting in bed with 9/11 endorsers is a bad idea?
Well, some of them, it seems to be. So
should have employed Sam Hyde instead, obviously.
Yeah, it would have actually been a better move career-wise. And I'm not joking. So we could see here, this is a tweet from some SocDem account, okay. And what's happened is Ethan Klein, obviously being a Jewish man, is and being, well, I suppose he would say of himself on the left these days, quite concerned between the Israel-Palestine conflicts, because on the one hand, he wants to side with Israel, and on the other hand, he wants to side with Palestine. And of course, that's not allowed. You're not allowed to have nuanced discussions or opinions that are complicated. Instead, you must pick Team A because, well, the left. There is no room for anything.
It's Halo all the way down, red or blue.
So he, as a result, has been getting massive amounts of hate from his co-host audience, which is now his audience.
So is he just realizing his audience would kill him given the chance?
If you're anything like me, witnessing the gradual decline of Western civilization can really drain your energy. But if you want to get through the day with your sanity intact and keep a sharp mind as we wade through the ashes together, a good night of restful sleep is vital. That's why you need Rest Again. Rest Again is a natural supplement that contains 11 scientifically backed ingredients designed to get you to sleep and help you to stay asleep by working with your body's natural processes and not against them. Rest Again wants to ensure you get a great night's sleep and make sure to do this by sticking to doses of ingredients that have been shown to work and have not chosen the cheap option for you. Rest Again starts by supplementing the vitamins that your body needs to produce GABA and melatonin, the sleep chemicals, naturally, including vitamin D, B6, and magnesium. Then, Rest Again adds in herbal extracts like ashwagandha and L-theanine, which have been shown in scientific studies to help people get a better quality of sleep. And to top that off, Rest Again gives you what you need to get to sleep at night, not just after your body has started producing what it needs. That means an extra dose of melatonin and GABA that tells your body it's time to sleep. Rest Again doesn't claim to be magic and can't promise you that it will work for you, but if you're not getting the results that you're satisfied with, then Rest Again guarantees to give your money back. So if you're interested in improving your sleep, then click the link below and get 25% off.
Well, yes, in fact, because he did this stream where he, as you can see, his eyes are all weird looking.
He looks like Uncle Fester.
Yeah, I don't know if he was majorly crying or if that's makeup, to be honest.
It might be weed.
Kind of weird, but his eyes are all red for people listening. And he did this section of his newest podcast stream, and it's about an hour or something, where he's just talking about Israel-Palestine, just going over arguments, and it's like, God, I could not give that much of a toss because I'm English. But the results of courting a terminally online leftist audience are something that I think should be understood so they can be mitigated against. Learn a lesson. Young boys and girls, do not follow the path of Ethan Klein. And I suppose we'll listen to what happened.
Hassan's Discord, and what I saw in that Discord was near universal praise for Hamas, near universal saying people deserved it, people near universally calling me a Zionist pig, fucking mass murdering genocidal freak. And if you want to know the truth, that shit fucked me up seeing that Discord, because it made me realize that a lot of these people are watching this show, and it frankly disturbed me. Hassan's Discord, and what I saw in that...
How could you have seen this coming?
Yeah.
Literally impossible.
And far be it for me to feel bad for my enemies, but he doesn't strike me as a very intelligent fellow. And so, to stumble across quite literally thinking that your tribe is on your side, and then to feel that level of betrayal, I wouldn't be surprised if actually his eyes are red from tears, because it is difficult to be plunged into a state of nihilism when everything you believe and everyone you think is your friend is actually out for your blood. So yes, stupid ideology. Yes, obvious enemy for putting it out there. I do feel a tiny bit bad for just how distressed you might be.
It is a bit of a cautionary tale of what happens when you allow yourself to be taken in by like progressive ideology. Because like you look, even the evolution of how he looks. I mean, he's not a man he doesn't look well, does he? In that,
yeah, he's gone from again, if he's Jewish, he's gotten so fat he looks Greek. So if you change ethnicities by the amount you eat, I wouldn't say that you're probably in the healthiest of places.
But I do love that it is him as well. I mean, Carl just reminded me before we spoke, which is that Jordan Peterson literally warned him specifically.
Oh,
if you go down this route, you will get eaten too.
yeah.
And well, there have been a few events, but this is the one that finally seemed to have broke the camel's back in his regard. And I struggle to have sympathy, I'll be honest, because I mean, as if there was any way to know that this might have been a terrible idea.
Bringing Hassan on,
to partner with local 9/11 lover, and his audience, which have stuck with him through thick and thin. Well,
he's a detestable person, because didn't he go to a brothel that was later found out to be a hub of sex trafficking? Obviously, it's not alleged that Hassan engaged in any of that illegal activity, but if you're running in that world, it doesn't make you the arbiter of morality.
But even without the moral stuff, I mean, Hassan Piker, we've spoken of previously, I mean, he's not entertaining. He's not intelligent. He doesn't really help you enjoy life, never mind learn about life. Instead, as he puts it himself, he is an idiot propagandist. That's a direct quote from his interview on Piers Morgan, which, is a
refreshingly honest.
Yeah. And this is what just international conflicts that have very little involvement for an average Westerner are so beautiful to me, because when this happens, the news cycle obviously picks it up because that's how the news works. And the effects it has on such people are just brilliant, because you see that they have no interest in finding the truth. They have no interest in enjoying life. They have instead an entire interest on my team, just 100% tribalism. My guys didn't do nothing, and everyone we're against did everything. And he said it himself in this interview. And this hasn't been hidden at any point. This is his entire career, in which case, yeah, this was very, very stupid move to sign up as someone as your partner in business and podcasting. And I'll be honest, you kind of deserve the consequences of finding out that everyone you've courted hates you. Well, they did tell you they did. So,
just to comment on the media space as well, this is something why I think both you and I, even though we do mainstream telly for as long as they'll allow us on, have been reluctant to comment on the Israel-Palestine situation generally. The only thing that I've done on it was earlier in the week saying, why do we have a bunch of foreign terrorist apologists in our streets that shouldn't be here? Because I don't want anything to do with it financially or culturally. And this is why. It's because whatever current thing bandwagon exists, you'll get people to go on sensationalist television or making tweets or whatever to capitalize off of said tragedy just for eyes, clicks, and clout. And I think that's what Ethan's done, not just because of ideological bias, but he's brought Hassan on because Hassan has a pre-existing audience and he's a sensationalist. And he thought, you know what, this will keep the show going and the wheels spinning. What he didn't realize is the ideological bias is far stronger an incentive draw than audience retention and loyalty, and now he's facing up to that.
Well, a couple of things there. I mean, as you say, we both go on sort of mainstream media, and I was on a show quite recently where I was. There were two guests and two hosts. I was one of the guests. The other guest was very obviously supposed to be the pro-Palestine side, thereby framing me as being like the pro-Israel guy.
And I wasn't pro-Israel.
I know, and I wasn't willing to play the character in the kind of the theatre production kayfabe that they were trying to put together, because that's exactly what it is. This sort of thing. It's just a kind of, as you say, a sensationalist entertainment product fundamentally, and it makes light of something that is very serious, but also. I don't know, why do I have to pick a side? Why can't I just pick my own side?
Well, the incentive to get booked is
that's
exactly
the thing.
So people allow themselves to be pigeonholed.
Yeah, there's some sort of market interest. But the interesting thing you said about Hassan's audience, he is very famous. A lot of people know who he is. Like my non-political friends, they all know who he is. They're like, oh, that's Hassan Arbi from Twitch type thing. It's like, what? And I've asked my non-political friends, like, what do you think of this guy? And they've kind of given a sort of moment to us like, oh yeah, he's, I don't know, seems okay, I guess. Never really watched him type thing. But the fact is that he does.
I too think America deserved 9/11.
This is the thing.
It's a sensible centrist position.
Yeah, but a guy like that having even a small amount of like mainstream profile, it's just insane because he is a moron and he is a grifter and he doesn't actually have any particular deeply held principles, and yet he is given this platform. It's just amazing to me.
And this isn't even getting into the conflict because I had this interaction recently, which I found funny, and it's
Yeah.
when I see something of
Yes.
national concern. This guy here is like, oh, imagine if this happened to you, the English. Imagine if your land was taken. So I tweeted this thing at him, obviously, which is, well, it is. Here's London. And obviously blocked immediately. But that's more my point, which is you can see the pros and cons of international conflicts. You can come up with nuanced arguments. So, I could sit and make a case for a Palestinian state. I'm not sure I can make a case for Hamas, I'll be honest, even if I tried my hardest. But these people are what Hassan's audience is. It's individuals who aren't sincere. They're always full of spite and hatred and never want to enjoy anything. Instead, it's just utterly 100%, 24/7. Here's why my side is right. And they'll do anything they can to prove it, including, bollocks points.
Well, I was going to say, just to make the point as well, how would he like it if the country that he lives in was colonized? Because if you see that little flag in his bio, I think that's the one with all the ugly women in it. So maybe we should go over there and conquer that country.
It's a tragedy what's happened to Transnistria.
Yes.
I think that's that one. Anyway, so we'll move on because this is them. This is their life. This is your audience. People with Palestinian and trans flags. I mean, that previous person had the same thing. As you can see, they believe in 2 nation states, which, and then again, we went over this with Stelios. This is not even, Stelios did a great job of explaining the ideological roots of why you end up with queers for Palestine. On the face of it, comical. But these people are just toxic. They're just frankly toxic individuals you wouldn't want subscribed to you or watching your content. Because then they turn into, well, what Ethan's discovered. When you don't side with their side 100%, you become something that has to be removed. And, well, that's what you get. And Ethan's doing something in response, which is, he says here he's going to pause his podcast with Hassan. He's not going to bother anymore, which probably the right move going forwards. That's probably what I do if I were him.
I mean, I would suggest he stops eating leftovers.
That is also a very good point. That is true. If you'd never watched Leftovers, which is their podcast, I wouldn't blame you. It's just kind of boring. But it's most famous for that one incident where Ethan said that if there was another Holocaust, he wants Ben Shapiro gassed first, which, again...
I remember one clip of where he laughed at some girl for having AI nudes made of her by like a streamer or something. And it's like...
Classic guy.
That's just disgusting.
But I could... Okay, he was kind of... he was making a joke at the time. We've been victims of YouTube not understanding jokes, whatever. It's a pretty bad joke, don't get me wrong. But that's something. But where do you end... How do you end up sitting there making jokes about how you want Ben Shapiro gassed in the next Holocaust? And frankly, I think it's because you hang out with Hassan's audience. You end up in that sphere. Because it's just not fun. Not to mention that the content is just bad and you should do more with your life. There was a guy I mentioned previously who went on his podcast and was like, bro, I used to make stuff. And now
I saw that, yeah.
It's a great point. But there's an even better one from the Lither King of all people, who went on, and Hassan's there as well, which is the brilliant part about this clip in particular. And I don't know if we can get the audio here ready, because I think we'll enjoy this.
So it's primal to be driving? Like, it's still primal? Because I don't know. I want to,
driving primal?
Well, I'm going to tell you, it 100% is, and I'm going to go ahead and put this to bed once and for all. Because people say this shit forever, right? Hey, driving in a car is not, is this primal? Flying in a jet, having a beach house is, having a ranch is, and so this is what I say, like, the evolutionary hunter that left the comfort of the cave, they did this for a better life, right? They left the comfort of the cave to go explore adventure and excitement and to pull our entire ecosystem forward. You had those other guys remaining in the shadow. I call those guys the subprimals, making reaction videos, sitting on the couch, right?
Yeah, fuck that.
I fucking hate those guys, man. Straight up.
But because this is what happened.
I would never do that.
The evolutionary hunter left.
I love how they both know.
Yeah.
I mean, Ethan used to make stuff, at least. Hassan, I don't think, has ever made anything ever. He literally just does reaction content.
A lot of money off of communists to buy himself a big house.
Yeah. One more update as well, just to mention, as you can see here, Ethan decided to delete pretty much everything off his Twitter.
Oh,
Jesus.
This is not an insignificant meltdown for his personal life.
Is that profile photo edited?
That's
or?
photoshopped, yes.
Right, okay.
That's just him having
He looks
fun.
like Friar Tuck.
But there is an analysis from all this, because not only is the Liver King obviously right, do more with your life than just reaction videos. Like, I like reaction content. I watch, some stuff. Maybe not Sniper Wolf, but whatever. But if that's all you do with your life, Hassan, I mean, you're even more worthless. Not only are you stupid and not learning anything about the world, not having fun, like, you don't even do anything with your life. Sure, you got a mansion and some cars, but really? That's it? Like, that's all you've done? What do? I make reaction videos and then I sit around and talk about why Israel gets nuked. Trust me, bro, it'll be a good idea.
It's just
I
Hassan
don't know what you do
strikes
on your
me.
deathbed.
He strikes me as the type who, I don't want to get all sort of tinfoil hat here, but he strikes me as the type who's being propped up in some way, because he's just, I don't understand how he has an audience of the size that he does.
Well, he got his job because
His uncle is
now running for president on the ticket of. I'm not joking, by the way.
I know.
Literally can't win though because he's a foreigner.
Yeah.
So-
Was he born abroad?
Yeah.
Oh,
Turkish.
right.
So he actually can't win, even if everyone
Okay.
voted for him.
Well, that's really gutting because obviously his platform of legalizing bestiality on day one would be a real vote winner.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
But no, I wouldn't be surprised if, yes, there are other strings being pulled. I mean, we have heard before about how the Prince's Trust was propping up like Philosophy Tube, for example. So I wouldn't be shocked if he had an angel investor.
Radical leftist propped up by the royal family. I mean, I still can't get over that.
Unfortunately, the king is a radical leftist, so.
Yeah, but there you go. Massive collapse. I think for the good. I think it might be a chance for Ethan to grow and to become a person who just cares about, I don't know, even if you don't care about the truth, just have fun. Just make fun content. It'll be more enjoyable than whatever the crap you've been doing because not engaging, to say the least.
He seems like he's been exposed to some kind of like radioactive material. It will do him good to have some time away from it.
The incredible bulk.
I think extreme leftism definitely is radioactive.
Yeah.
It's the right way to put it. And financially, there's a whole other conversation to be had here because I checked out the Social Blade. Something I hadn't noticed is that this also has been a bad move financially, it seems. Now, he's got, ridiculous amount of views per day, obviously, 700K earnings yearly.
Must be nice to be monetized, eh?
You know, it's good fun. Don't get me wrong. I bet he can do a lot with 700K. But that doesn't really matter when it comes to big businesses. It's not about, I have a lot of money. It's growth. And when you look at this, you can see that there's some growth here back in, some olden times. And then ever since September, just about, I mean, you see August there, and then September, neutral, because something happened. And then ever since, it's just negative. It's just people leaving.
When did Hassan come on?
Interesting you say that. September,
Oh,
turns out.
Right.
So there you are. Original release, September 26, 2021. I mean, I'm not saying it's the reason why, but it does look like the reason why, which is that if you hang out with someone who makes... I mean, Ethan's not a smart guy, as you point out. It did make him look smart being next to Hassan. Carl has said many a time, and it is true. But that's not a good thing.
no.
I mean, just surrounding yourself with retards isn't really going to elevate you over the long term, for sure.
If half your show is stupidity, then why would people want to watch the show?
It's just... well, they're not, it seems. That they're leaving because it's a waste of everyone's time. And, well, there is some other good news as well, which is Hassan is also a thing. For people wondering why we talk about such people, it's because, well, they're way bigger and therefore have way more of an impact, which is sad considering the level of the content. Don't get me wrong, but it is what it is. It's the world. But you can see Hassan here, his growth is sort of tailing off as well. So it would be nice to have him just disappear because I'm sick.
Well, also,
Tender boy.
at the same time that we smaller outlets are making inroads with people that have a lot more influence than Spurgs who sit all day on Twitch. I mean, increasingly, as we have found attending things like Conservative Party Conference, we actually have friends in higher places. And I would be shocked if Hassan's uncle ascends the same office of power.
It would be good if we could use more of that to actually help the world instead of just whatever the hell this is, which is just checking his channel real quick before I came back on. It's just like, oh, there we go. There's your average content.
So he's just watching other people's stuff.
Yeah, it's a 100% reaction channel, but he's not stealing off Lemino and everyone else. I do love this, though. Here's your 1 hour and 3 minute long video about how we got here from Israel-Palestine. And the reason I doubly love it is because it literally is the meme. So there should have been another link there, John, if you could load it up. Because there's a guy who made a joke video, which is an unbiased history of Israel. And he made a much better point and didn't take 1 hour and 3 minutes to tell you all about it. Because literally I'm going to now sit here for 20 hours and tell you things is actually a joke leftist meme at this point. So here we go.
Callum, what is that thumbnail?
It's a wonderful thumbnail.
Until the First Intifada. Ask an anti-Zionist influencer what the First Intifada was, and he'll demand your attention for an entire week. Ask an Intifada partaking terrorist instead, and he'll be very straightforward.
I mean, literally, that's what Hassan content is. Whenever he talks about international politics, it's 3 hours, doesn't really help you. Quite frankly, you'd be better off watching the paint dry. But there we are, which is that Ethan's finally cut ties with him, it seems. I do hope that that's permanent. And he goes on to grow and makes good content, because that would be, well, better for me. I like good content. I like enjoying things on YouTube. It's a tough ask, I know. But yeah, good news. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Lads Hours we do, this one on your ideal holiday. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.